the Democratic Republic of Congo is now in talks with the partner states of the East African community to join the East African community. What does the DRC bring to the EAC?
Becoming a member of EAC is very significant for DRC. Bearing in mind it shares a boundary with Tanzania, Burundi, Rwanda, Uganda, and South Sudan. And its logistic hub, particularly in transport, would be Kenya and Rwanda, because these are the most vibrant regional airlines. And the fact that Kenya is able to share a code and enter into a partnership with Air Congo. So it means that it can use the logistic capability of Nairobi and Kenya Airways, the same with Rwanda. And that is what really then positions a movement of its people, movement of goods and services across the border in the 5 countries, make it a logical conclusion to be a member of East African community.
But what does DRC bring to the region, to the EAC?
I think DRC brings enormous value to the East African community. The first one is that it almost scales the market by about 75%. It's bringing 100 million people to a market with less than 150 million people. So that is the size. The second aspect is that the potential of DRC. At the moment, DRC sits on maybe the most significant potential of any country in the world. It's the most endowed country in terms of resources, unexploited. It holds resources that are the game changer as the world goes green, or as the world goes, for instance, to electrical cars and the rest, because of cobalt, copper, and the rest. That potential can really transform East Africa. I trust that East Africa will be transformed more by DRC, then maybe East Africa will be able to transform DRC. Indeed,
there's been that issue of population, and most of the people we've spoken to are very quick to talk about a market of 100 million joining into the East African region. But when you look at it, the trade really across the borders is the market woman buying maybe groundnuts, taking to Rwanda, the person in Rwanda buying kitenges, or, it's very little business in between. So really, is it a big number that we should actually look at?
No, it is the partnership and collaborations between the industrialists, the entrepreneurs of East Africa, working together with the Congolese to exploit and develop the resources in DRC. If it is energy, there is no country in the world that offers a better opportunity than DRC. If it is mining and processing minerals, no country would offer bigger opportunities. So the experience that the entrepreneurs and the business community in East Africa has developed over the last 60 years can come to bear in DRC and support the DRC people through partnerships and collaborations to then move and transform their country faster. What took East Africa 60 years may be achieved in under 10 years.
Of course, not lost on us is that the DRC is a member of the SADC region. Does that affect relations between the DRC and the EAC?
It's not about thinking about sharing the cake. It's about growing the cake. So the mindset should be of abundance. And that is what it would see, the unexploited potential. So anybody who could help DRC for it to unlock its potential would be adding value. So the SADC countries have a role to play. The East African community countries have a role to play. And I truly believe the Central African region countries also have a very significant role to play to make DRC unlock its potential, as well as the international community, whether it's traditional partners like Belgium, France, Europe, and the US. We all could unlock this potential for the betterment of humanity, and specifically the people of DRC.
Where does AFCFTA come in now?
That is very, very central as an enabler. But most critical is the East African protocols for a free trade region, where we have already established the rules. The DRC is just about to sign on the final agreements. So we see that as a big opportunity. But trade needs to go beyond East Africa, DRC, and SADC. It needs to be a continental trade. And that is where the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement and protocols need to come into place. And we need to fast track the rules of origin and the protocols to be signed between the countries so that trade actually happens.
As negotiations were going on here, or were about to start, towards the end of last year, the UKT Bank actually took a group of business people to the Democratic Republic of Congo. Tell us about that. What informed that decision? Who did you take? And exactly what was the mission?
We took over 300 people to DRC for a period of 16 days. And we visited 4 major cities in DRC, which are the regional hubs. That is Kinshasa, Lubumbashi, Goma, and Bujimai. And these, we wanted to expose these business people to the opportunities in DRC. But what has excited us most is that we interacted with over 2,000 Congolese business people. And as we speak today, we have 22 business people who have gone back to go and close the relationships and the opportunities that they identified.
Are there industries that you now see these 22 individuals or corporates have gone back to? What are they actually prospecting? What are they looking at?
We have seen public-private partnerships to development of infrastructure. Energy seems to be a big one. Infrastructure like refurbishing airports seems to be a big one. Housing is very, very central in all this. And capital goods to support the mining industry seems to be. But there also seems to be an opportunity for trade in Kenyan manufactured goods. Kenya seems to be very well positioned to replace the global supply chains that DRC has always relied on. They have been disrupted. There is a void. There is a vacuum. And that is the vacuum that we could quickly and strategically fill.
In terms of the negotiations that have just been concluded, what exactly were the partner states demanding, or what were they looking into as they brought DRC on board, as they seek to bring DRC on board?
They demand harmonization, particularly of the fiscal, monetary policies, the trade policies. So it's more of a harmonization so that you can achieve a regional trade area. So, and that broadly means that transforming policies, transforming institutions to harmonize them. Regulations, tariffs, and all that are then harmonized.
Do you think the conflict in the DRC will affect what it can be able to do, or how much it can be able to gain from being a member of the EAC?
Joining the East African community is the best solution DRC would have. If you look at that challenge, is a conflict for resources. It is a country that has had crossed its boundaries with Uganda, Rwanda. And so the opening of the boundaries allow resources to be utilized. It allows opportunities, and that is what they have been fighting for. That's what has been the focus of conflict. So to me, the opening of this region, and I really appreciate that they have not only opened the boundaries with Uganda, but they have joint projects between Uganda and Rwanda to develop infrastructure. Development of infrastructure addresses insecurity significantly. Development of infrastructure allow goods and services to move, and opportunities then quickly crop. And it's that that reduces the tension that there is as people fight for resources or fight for opportunities.
The pace of integration has been very slow. So do you sense a political will by the leadership of the East African community to really integrate the region?
It's true, we have gone through challenging moments of integration. By this time, if the aspirations have been met, we would be a monetary union. But integration means carrying entire populations. And carrying entire population is a political issue. So it's not an economic issue. You are trying to achieve an economic issue, but you are using political tools. So we are going at the pace of the political tools. And you can see how much we were taken back when we had to adopt the collaboration of the weeding, because some countries were not able to be. I'm really glad that Tanzania has bounced back and may be the driver of momentum. I see that the East African community arrangement, trade arrangement with European Union, which has dragged for almost 5 years, is now on the table for signing and open huge opportunities. I'm very excited that Kenya seems to have resolved its grievances and tariff barriers with Tanzania. I'm very excited to see Uganda has opened its boundary with Rwanda, or Rwanda has opened its boundary with Uganda. I don't know which is which. And I've seen the warmth of relationship between Rwanda and Burundi that has really emerged. At the same time with the DRC. That is what was holding. It's the political tools, it's the political energy and will that was holding the economic integration. And so once that political will has been achieved, I believe we will fast track the integration.